Hello, happy people. How are you? um, God, I'm feeling really amazing. It's just, yeah, I love my life. I love my husband.
I love my wife. And my life too. Life's good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are changing so fast. It's like,
Yeah.
I think since we started this gratitude thing and say the thing with the Paul Seeley, it's like totally different. I haven't enjoyed driving to work today and driving animals. It's so bad. It's like it's what you have to do.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah. I enjoyed riding my bike again. It's just so amazing. And I must say, in Perth, it's amazing. They have bike tracks everywhere. It's like so cool. Like, it's really like they have a good bike track system all over Perth. It's like, yeah, makes everything so much more, like they have even like, giveaway tracks, and then, like they have everything really organized here.
Not the roads network.
Yeah, the bike tracks are super organized. I hope you're doing good. I wonder how everything is going in your life. Maybe, like we always say, if you want to leave a comment or anything.
Sorry.
Um,
What is
and it's rubbing my skin at one point. If you want to leave a comment, about how you're feeling, or if you have any questions about anything, we're open.
Drop a comment. And then we can talk about it, discuss it whilst we're online too.
Yeah, we have. We just talked about a topic, which was like, oh my God, it was like super mind opening for me, like the brain health, and we never really think about our brain health and appreciate our brain,
It's there, so it's just there.
Yeah, the most important, like what we really want to have is a good flow towards blood circulation towards the brain.
Yeah.
And there are some things that are beneficial for that are increasing the blood flow, and there are certain things that are decreasing the blood flow, and we're not aware of that, and nobody is teaching us that. We always think
an increase of blood flow, if the brain is functioning better. Decrease, it's starving.
It's deprived of like being nourished by the blood, there are studies of brain scans of murderers, and these people that have murdered in their life, they all have
scarred brains,
shriveled brains, like they all look super, like they even don't have a normal form anymore, even soccer players have parts of the brain that are like smashed, and these murderers, they have really like the brain doesn't look like a normal brain anymore.
Like a dented brain kind of thing?
It is. And there are so many things that we are doing that are not beneficial for the healthy blood flow in the brain. And if we don't have a healthy blood flow in the brain, you have to become aware of that. There's no way that you can have a joyful life, because a not healthy blood flow in the brain is connected to depression, to dementia, to Alzheimer's, to all these things that are, why the brain is not nourished well.
Something that you don't want to have when you get older.
Yeah. And depression you don't want to have now. Yeah. Depression, it's like, so many people go like, oh, I don't feel so good today. Why don't you feel good today? It's many times because your brain is not nourished well, and substances like marijuana, alcohol, all kinds of toxins, which also include sugar. Sugar is also changed into poison in the body, fruit juices. These sugars the body is changing it into toxins, into poison, like alcohol.
That's why we do detoxes, that we say, oh yeah, I'm taking a detox shake.
Like alcohol. Alcohol is changed in the body, is changed into poison. And the thing is, this giggly feeling when we're drinking, right? We think it's funny, but it's because the body, we're like, oh, I can't walk straight anymore. Ha 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 ha. It's because the body is under alert status. It's because the body is poisoned and the body goes like, fuck, I'm dying, We think it's funny. The body goes like, no, that's not funny.
Puts you in a hallucinative state.
Yeah. So, there are other things that are like, that are
nourishing,
affecting the brain, like there are things like malt in the air, heavy metals in the body, what else? Negative thoughts also decrease the blood flow to the brain. So every time
when the body's on alert, it's like the body's on alert.
Yeah.
The blood flow is actually decreased.
Yeah, because there is so much going on in the body, so there is not enough like blood flow towards the brain, because when the body is in alert, like in alert status, like because of anxiety or anger or upsetness, like the hands start to get sweaty, the heart starts to beat, breath is going a little bit faster. There's so much that where the blood needs to go into the body, so there is not enough blood flow towards the brain, and this is all causing a mutation of the brain. Yeah, we really have to become aware of that. A healthy brain is the gateway.
Definitely causes brain fog.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, a healthy brain is the gateway to being able to live
a great life
to our highest potential. Because like we said yesterday, when you are we are the creators. Our brain is creating the pictures. It's like a painter who's painting a beautiful picture. Our brain is painting these pictures around us,
and we're having that in our lives.
Yes, and when when there is not enough blood flow in the brain, the pictures are painted in black, right? Because
or not joyful, not joyful, because the body's starving. The brain, which is like the brain, is the key, because if you can have good thoughts running through your brain, you're living a good life. If you're having negative thoughts, heart is strong as well. I'm not saying the heart is like when you open a heart chakra, it's a different thing. We're talking about that goes into spirituality compared to normal everyday living. But if your brain is not getting enough blood because of different things you're doing in your life, your picture and
your manifestation
purposes aren't going to be clear. And that's why a lot of us struggle. I still struggle. It's not like we're any different. We're here just telling you what we're feeling, and it's really good when people to say things, because like we had True here say, can that cause brain fog? Of course, that's exactly what it's causing. This blankouts, this not sure, and yeah, so cool. Yeah, I'm living on a high life, which we found out isn't a high life. It's actually a lower life, because you're lowering your vibration,
and you're lowering the blood flow into your brain. It's all low, like living on substances. May it be sugars, may it be drugs, may it be whatever it is, gaming, whatever it is.
And this is the other thing too, because I've had this. We're not handling life, because we're over-creating and overthinking and a lot of other things. So we're not handling life. So we need something to make us be able to relax. there's a lot of really positive ways to be able to bring a relaxation into your body and mind that does not include putting toxins into your body and your body needing to create a poison so the body can react on the poison to push it out. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you understand what I'm trying to say. So obviously we're having trouble in life for whatever reason. Our anger's all this happened to me when I was young and that. Everyone's got a story. Every single person's story is just as important as everyone else's. Do you know what I mean? So when we start looking deeper and looking into our things, okay, so I'm drinking 5 beers a night. I'm obviously going to have a decrease in blood flowing to my body because I'm kind of poisoning it. Yeah? Don't get me wrong. I was fucking party king, man. It's like fucking, it's cool.
We all had our times.
Yeah, we've had our times. Like everyone's had their times. So, but when you start to realise, look, we're getting on an older age now. We're getting 50 now. If we don't start looking after our brain, we're going to be 60 and be needing respirators and all kinds of shit. Who wants to be living like that? I don't want to live like that for a day. Do you know what I mean? So
and we have like dementia and everything.
we have the chance now to make the change.
It's the worst when your brain is not working
Functioning,
properly.
it's not functioning.
Because it's really the key to everything. You know, like you're
it
just
creates your outer picture.
you're vegetable without your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the thing, you know, like
And taking a substance because we can't handle it is even actually, it's pushing you more into the negative direction compared to the positive direction. You might be like, oh, but I need it because of this and this. Okay, let's slowly cut down. How many people have actually stopped something completely? And I don't mean like for a week or a day or a month. I mean like totally taken it out of their life and not seen a better result. And then if you have something like that happen, write me. Write me, because there must be obviously something that's not working good inside of you that makes you feel that you can stop. Like I stopped drinking and smoking weed, even though I loved it. I loved it. But now after being off for a while, I realised that it did have its effect on lowering my vibration. Even though I felt like I wasn't, it was definitely lowering my vibration.
It's like, you know, our ego is trying to tell us, no, it's not a problem.
The ego needs also, ego needs a story. You know, when you have a story, there's going to be some goods and bads. And normally our brain will stick on the bads. That's where it's first firing the light. So if you think about just all the good times you've had, there's always been a bad situation connected to it. Do you know what I mean? So what we're trying to do is take those bads, forget your past if you can. Forget it. If it's only bringing up negative thoughts, forget it. You know, I forgot my growing up because it wasn't good for me. And I don't even mention it anymore to say that I grew up like this.
Exactly.
I grew up the way I grew up, that was the way it is, and it brought me to this point now to start to realise, rather than having to lose a limb or lose a lung or something like that, we have the chance now as adults to make differences, because maybe we're going to live for the next 25, 30 years, you don't know.
Or maybe 50 years, who knows?
Yeah, okay. I'm not going for 50, but yeah, okay. She's allowed to have a...
You never know
what
happens. What I want to say is like... you know, because when you said like, you know, forget the stories of the past, right? What I realized when I was going to South America, living for 1.5 years in South America, and my Spanish wasn't that good yet. Like before I was, you know, like we all do, I think, like our ego loves to talk about the past and the stories and the
how I was
adventures
mistreated.
You know, like whatever, you know, like hero stories about, you know, like the past, you know. And
we identify to the
that,
past, which has negativity in it most of the time. Which so then we're identifying to a negative personality.
Yeah, it's like our ego identification, and our ego wants to stay in this identification because to the ego, losing this identification, it feels like dying. It doesn't want to die. It's like an entity that is struggling to stay alive.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we are holding on to these stories, to these identifications, right?
Yeah.
So when I was going to South America, and I couldn't tell my story anymore because my Spanish wasn't that good. It was crazy. Like over time, I lost really the connection to my past story. It was like
'Cause you couldn't
I
say it?
stopped.
Was it 'cause you
I
couldn't say it?
stopped talking about my stories, about my hero stories and adventures, and you know, like whatever. And it was, you know, like in the beginning, I didn't even realize it. But at one point, I was like, I became aware that I was suddenly the girl without the past story, with all you know, without this backpack carrying around about my past life, you know. And it was
So it must have been also after you realise that. You probably wanted to tell the story, but after you realise it, like after, it probably you felt a lot lighter.
yeah,
A lot
exactly,
lighter?
like losing a backpack,
Like a
on the
brand
way,
new, like
you
a brand
know?
new life starting.
Yeah, it was like
So everybody's got to head to South America.
no, you just have to stop telling your story from the past. Really, this is really so relieving, and it, you know, a new life starts if you do that. You know, a whole new life starts if you do that.
And you can paint it the way you want.
Exactly. You
And
know.
if you're starting to be
You're starting
in
new and
positive
fresh.
vibrations, then your story, your fresh story, is going to be about positive vibration. It's not going to be about how I was mistreated, how this happened to me, how this is like this, because this is not only the ego, it's the pain body wanting to connect. There's a great book from, he's a German author, God,
Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle. This guy was he was about to kill himself, and he found a pencil in the gutter and thought, rather than kill himself, I'm going to talk about it, and started writing. He's world famous for opening of the mind, and he's not a doctor. He opened his mind through trauma. Through trauma, he opened his mind, and then through opening the mind, he forgot and left the trauma behind. Do you know what I mean? So he started to create a new me. And you can do this every second you're awake, you can create a new me. Yeah? Obviously lies and stuff like that is just going to bring you back to negativity. So if you can create a new me with a positive vibration, it's going to be so much more appealing, and that you're going to be able to like Dorothy said, let go of that backpack that you're carrying on your shoulders. And this is why we're getting tired, because of our past. Not because of our future, because that hasn't come yet. It all depends right now on what your future is going to bring. But if you can let go of this past things, I'm not saying let go. We learn, we move on, we learn, we move on, we learn, we move on. But we don't have to tell everybody we meet on the street, my dad was abusive, my mother was like this. We don't have to do this, because this is just feeding the ego and the pain body.
Yeah, exactly. Like some people, I had that many times when I was starting to understand the pain body. Like, you know, I love
Eckhart Tolle was the first.
I love to listen to Eckhart Tolle. I love to go into the park in Berlin and just, you know, listen to what he was saying. It was really resonating with me. And when I was starting to understand that, and people were coming to me and they wanted to, you know, like they were telling me about
pain body talking,
about their life and what they have experienced, and it was really awful, and it was like, you know, the worst thing in the world, and he was treating me so bad, and she was really, you know, she was lying to me or whatever, and I realized, okay, this pain buddy wants right now my approval of the whole story, you know, that I'm going to step into the story and go like, oh my God, and yes, he's a motherfucker or whatever, you know, like, you know, approving the whole story and giving my energy, my negative energy into it, so the pain buddy
into the fire. You're pouring petrol into the fire.
So the pain buddy feels, feels alive
Justice,
with that.
it's got justice.
Justice,
Yeah.
judge, and alive. So, and I didn't want to do that anymore because I realized I'm not doing anything good to that person. I'm doing something good to the pain body, but I'm not doing anything good to the person. But the people started to complain that I'm not compassionate with them. And I was like, but don't you understand that if I would do that, if I would approve your story and give my energy into it, you would feel like it's true, But is it really true? Is there an absolute truth about it? You say, Peter has lied to me. But then, ask yourself, is it true? And is it absolutely true? Because you can always turn it around and say, I have lied to me, because Peter hasn't lied to you. He has done what he thought is right in that moment, but because I took over the story and I was I was putting it into my world, I have been lying to me.
Yeah.
Right? And if we start to see it that way, we step out of the victim state into the state of being in control
And
of
awareness,
everything.
And awareness, there's a great joke I remember. It was a Greek joke, and it was like the wife wakes up and her husband's pacing back and forth, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I owe $1,000 to the neighbour and I don't have it." Mm-hmm. And she's like, thinks about it for a minute, and she goes over to the neighbour, knocks on the door and says, "You know what, my husband doesn't have the money." Comes back to the house and goes, "Okay, you go to bed, I'll tell him you haven't got the money." And she goes, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "What did he say?" He said, "Doesn't matter what he said. You can lay down." So he lay down and slept, and all of a sudden the neighbour was pacing because he's like, "Oh my God, I'm not going to get me $1,000. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about how you understand what's going on, and also if Dorothy tells me this great story that's amazing and all this kind of, and I take it on into my life, that's a lie. It's not my thing. You know what I mean? You can be compassionate and listen to someone's story and stuff like this, but when you're adding to somebody's negativeness, I could say that, or negativity, you're actually doing a lot worse than good. And also to the person, and also to your own pain body. Your pain body is something that we can really let go of, because we've all been mistreated, and the last thing you want to hear is someone talking bad about somebody, because it just brings on a negative vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if you approve the story of the pain body, you make this person understand, yes, you are really whatever, whatever this person is thinking, whatever, if this person says, well, he told me that I'm the worst person in the world. And if I say, yes, you are really the worst person in the world because, this other person has said it, and,
or even jump on the bandwagon and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he said that to you." You know what I mean? Even that.
But it all approves, it all gives kind of like a validation to
what's been said.
To what has been said. So I don't want to do that because it's not true. So I don't want to step into this ego pain body story to save the person, to give the person the understanding that the whole story is not true. You're not the worst person in the world. It's just not true, Yeah, so this is, and there we come back to the brain health. It's not healthy for the other person's brain to feed the brain with approval of this whole story.
A negative story.
And it's not healthy for my brain either, because I'm stepping into a whole world of negativity, which I want to not let into my life, right? If you want to call it negativity, low energy or whatever you want to call it.
This comes back, I'm a little bit of a story tonight, but I had a lot of friends that were like, "Oh, my girlfriend cheated on me and I'm so heartbroken." I was like, "Really?" And it's like, "Yeah, you know, we've been together for..." It's like, but would you actually want to spend time with the person who's doing that? Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's just put it in our concept. Dorothy's cheated on me and I'm heartbroken about it. If she cheats on me in however way you might see her cheating, I'm kind of like, wow, okay, that's cool, because now I kind of know what you're like and I don't want to have that in my life. Do you know what I mean? So what happens is something happens and then we just keep on suffering with it because we've just added it to another story of our pain body, or wherever you go, or this happened to me, or why would you want to be around not cool people? This is what I don't understand too. This
Not
is not
cool, or like people that are not resonating on
that's
your
what I mean by
level.
that's what I mean by not cool. You know, someone who's hurting you, and you've had your time and talked and stuff like this. Why would you want to live in a state that is the pain body? That is the pain body needing another story to make you seem better. You're not better. We're all just as perfect as each other. Okay? So, but if you start validating these thoughts and feelings and emotions you have inside of you of I'm better or I'm worse, let's try to go on a balance. You're perfect. You should be caring about yourself. But you're not more perfect than that person, or more perfect than me, or more perfect than her. We're all just as valuable as each other. And this is another thing I saw once on a documentary. You see, sometimes they say, show China from above, and you see all these little cars going around, and it's like creating this whole movie, and there's cars and people, and this is the whole of life. Every little one of those lights needs to be there. Every little feeling and emotion has to be there, but not to control the whole. So this doesn't feel good. Why doesn't it feel good? We start digging deep and having a look. So it's really important that you start to, not telling you to kick out people out of your life and stuff like this, but when you start resonating on a positive level, everyone around you will end up being positive. And this is like a one-to-one rule. It's just the way it is. Slowly the other ones, like they say, sometimes you weed out the baddies from the goodies, and who's good and who's bad. There's no thing there to say who's good and who's bad. But you start resonating on a higher vibration, you'll see that the people that are on a lower vibration, because they still haven't found themselves yet, will probably end up slowly disappearing out of your life.
Or they, maybe they ascend with you.
Maybe you lift them up, and this is like a great thing. Imagine you can lift someone up to start to realise their life in a different way, and
but
not
that's their path,
Definitely their path, but I mean, like when you can give this to somebody else. Like I had a lot of people in Germany saying to me, "How can you be happy all the time?" I was like, "How can you be sad?" I mean, every day we wake up, it's like a chance to change your whole life. Every moment.
But everybody is deciding for their own.
You're not to push.
Like,
this is the thing too. You're not to push someone into it. You resonate good, and you will see the differences. How people's feelings will become different.
And the resonance of yourself, this good resonance that feels good for you. You do it for yourself. You don't do it to change anybody. You just do it because it feels good inside of you.
Yeah. We're not. The only thing we're here, I believe, on this earth to heal is ourselves. We heal ourselves, and through healing ourselves, everything else around you becomes healed. And this is just how it works. Now, I'm not a scientist or anything like this. This is what they found with the human person. They even had like a thing, I think it must have been in the 60s or 50s, I think it was the Chinese who did it. They had a whole heap of newborns, and they were giving them the best nourishment and the best stuff, but no human touch, and all the babies died. We are here to connect, to feel good, even though it might feel a little bit weird now with all the internet and stuff, but your smile, like Dorothy said, she was driving that time and she was smiling to people, and there was so unbelievable how like 99.9% waves back, and it gave me, this is amazing. You're not here to do that, but she's doing it because she's feeling good, and it's creating a beautiful atmosphere.
Also,
around
like
her.
big part, like connection, also a big part of the healthy brain, of the brain
Yes.
health. Like in COVID, for example, when we were separated, there were so many kids especially that were freaking out. And it was because the brain, because the brain didn't function healthy anymore, Like if you have a connection, if you have healthy connections to people, then your brain, your blood flow to the brain is increased again, It's always coming back to, how good is the blood flow towards your brain, So, yeah.
It's not feeling deprived. So it's getting its blood, it's getting its thing, it's functioning right, it's thinking right, and you start to have positive outcomes. You start to have positive outcomes, and whatever you might be into, there will be a positive outcome when you start feeling and acting positive.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So, that's it for today. So, yeah, and what I wanted to say is, ginkgo. Ginkgo.
Oh, that's right.
Get yourself ginkgo capsules because they are so good for the brain. This study has said that people, like the most beautiful brains, are actually where people have been eating ginkgo. So. Do that.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to Uncle Andy, my cousin Anne.
Yeah, it's so
Bishy.
great. So many people are watching. It's awesome.
Yeah,
We love
yeah.
you so much.
To all the people that are like there every night, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Drop us more questions and comments or anything that you think that you could be having trouble with in your life, and we can discuss it on one of these little chats, because it's going to maybe give you another outlet or another way to look at life, that being stuck, like I said, inside the situation, many times you don't see the door out. When you're sitting above, you're like, oh my God, there's 2 doors in that room, and why are they not taking one of the... Because you're inside the room. So drop a line if you have anything. We're all healing each other. Me and Dorothy, this is like sometimes we say things a million times because we need to say them a million times to get them through to our own self.
It's habit. Positive thinking is habit. Negative thinking is habit. So make it a habitual process for you to get into your positive thinking. Remind yourself always again and again.
Just catch yourself when you start to feel
really
bad.
a habit.
Yeah. Yeah, so just catch yourself. Like you're thinking about it and you're like, oh my God. And normally you'll be able to catch yourself. If you start to get angry or fired up about something, it might be driving the car or doing gardening in your backyard or whatever. And Bishi is fucking great to see you, bro.
Stay positive.
And
you
yeah,
too.
just take a step back for a second and think about, okay, what's upset me? Oh, he upset me because he cut me off. It's like, so was that enough to get your heart racing and get you close to a heart attack state because somebody cut you off? He might have heard that his horse died and he's racing home to save his horse. You just don't know what's going on in someone else's life.
Never take anything personally.
So let's start looking at our own, what's going on in us, and seeing why we're getting upset, and then we can start to solve problems that we might have. Yeah. Have a beautiful night.
Beautiful. I love you.
Love you too. It's awesome.
We love you.
We love you. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Bye.